Coming at you, man. I gotta tell you something. This driver knows what the hell he's doing. Very courteous, very thorough. So, your truck is coming at you. Your truck. Your car is coming at you. Fenders, the rear fender covers are in the passenger seat because he had to strap down the wheels.
This is a genuine Honda transmission without genuine Honda transmission oil. The transmission was supposedly whining for 50,000 miles, and now it grinds when you put it in gear. And this is obviously from the pump that's making that noise. But when I drained it, I'm like, that's totally clear. And then I put my finger on it, I smelled it, and I'm like, that's gear lube. Well, I knew the tranny was shot anyway, but I guess I should, I was thinking about just changing the pump, but I wasn't sure how much metal was in the tranny. Chunk of metal flake here, that ended up on the magnet of this plug here. Not a ton otherwise, but there's probably a screen in here of some sort, but now I don't know if I should bother with the, this thing has been running with gear oil for a while, I guess. Oh well. How the hell can they do that? But that definitely is what screwed it up. There's no tolerances for that kind of oil. I'm so pissed right now. I've been trying forever, and I ended up taking out both axles. I ended up taking off the exhaust, and of course one of the bolts broke. And I got this back cover off here, and I got one bolt that physically just can't come out. If I go all the way up or all the way down, it doesn't matter. It's hitting, that bolt is hitting the frame. It's like they don't want you to do this. And I even loosened the motor mount on here. I mean, there's nothing really holding this motor up. And then when I lower it all the way down, it binds. I mean, this fucking thing just dropped a fucking ton. But it's not low enough. Well, now the, oh, fuck me. So now I have it in. Wait a minute. No, it's maybe a slightest bit better. Oh, that's like all the way the fuck down. See the head of the bolt? It just doesn't fucking clear. Oh man. Oh. Of course, bring the light down. See. Ooh. Yeah, I think actually the exhaust did help. I went down initially. It's like all awkward and shit anyway. And of course, it's got to be pulling on some... Oh, I got it out! Holy fuck. Oh, fuck me. I got that rod, whatever the fuck that is. And there's another one in the center. And it's going deep into the fucking... deeper into the tranny, and it's not going to clear. I can't physically get it off. So that was the fucking problem in the end. It's just I can't even get the fucking cover off. And I know there's bolts. Those 3 flange bolts, they're holding it, but it's like... if I take those off, parts could fall out of it. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Damn it. So fucking close. Unreal. So, pain in the balls, but now I realize my problem. See, I took the starter out, I got a couple of bolts out. Trying to take those electrical lines, those orange things for the hybrid out. I took out the, these rubber tranny lines. And then I'm looking, I'm like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, oh fuck, it's the ground strap. It's fucking stretched all the way. So I got to tighten the motor mount because I loosened it on that side. And then I can unbolt that, and I bet you, because now it's hanging by that. And I was wondering what the fuck is holding it. But it's funny how it's staying up so kind of level. It's like perfectly centered. That's a ball breaker. I didn't realize that. But yeah, there's a thing in the middle there. I'll never get it out. So tranny's got to come out. Not sure my path, but it's getting there. Alright, I had loosened these bolts for these wires here. Put the light on. It's definitely separated. It's separated an awful lot. If there was, for something else to be bolted. What's that? Is that a bolt? I can't see straight on. I can use this. No, that's just a piece of the casting. Yeah, actually, I don't think it's bolted to it. Now, boy, everything falls on this car. So, I heard that the thing just slides out of the flywheel, but I guess if you have a problem, then you start taking out these bolts here. So, I mean, I gather if I take out those bolts, it'll just all in all be a lot easier instead of trying to mess with it so much. Yeah, being that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, maybe I should do... Oh, wait, what are those bolts? That's interesting. Maybe that's just for the electric. It seems like the ones I would take off would be on the flywheel there. But I'm pretty sure the center just slides out. But I'm not really sure. That's really what it comes down to. We shall see. Yeah, those bolts did the trick. I got a wrench right there, turning the engine. And now I got it out. And I can take off this cover and fuck with it. And I don't know if it's worth it, if they're even available. Like, nobody's selling. I put transmission pump, and very few things come off a Honda, let alone this particular tranny or hybrid. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Alright, after researching some other Honda transmissions, I've seen them with a pump out here that goes all the way through to the front. Therefore, it spins it. This just looks like, transfer tubes, that transfer fluid where it needs to go. So the fluid's coming there. But just to turn this guy, that's a very rough noise to hear at even this side. And pretty much I was hearing it out here. So this doesn't look right. It looks like this should be under a snap ring. So something happened, and I think this thing came out and something broke. So if it's a snap ring that broke, I don't see the pieces. So that's a little weird. But I guess I'll take off a little bit and see what happens. But it's probably, I was thinking it was a pump. But because you can access this pan, you can get to the bottom. So if shit fell into the tranny, you can kind of clean it out. I don't know what I'm going to find there, but we'll see. Okay, so I had some snap ring pliers to take out the snap rings, and I got this far. That sounds like the pump, but I got a little piece, and it looked like this before, and now there's a big piece, and this is the noise. You could see all the ball bearings are fucked up there, and I don't know if that is going to wear on itself. Jesus, this light really causes some interference. Okay. Hang on a second. So, definitely bad bearing. I don't particularly trust this transmission with the gear lube in it, but this is interesting. But it does look like, unless this drum comes out, I don't necessarily see another snap ring. I'm not quite sure if this is the end of this side and then you gotta split the case and start taking out other shit. But, oh, actually, it kind of looks like it moves, so maybe there's a snap ring on the center there. Some more, go a few more. But, that's very interesting, I must say. That's definitely the part this is definitely the bearing, and the gear lube is not going to make that work any better, I don't think, but it's definitely not good for the pump, so I don't know about the pump now either, but that's the veins in the pump, and it was, it wasn't leaking the tranny, but now I worry that if you start putting thinner oil in, the right oil, then if you start having other issues with, you know, what do you call it? With the fluid pressure, then, you know. So I don't know, and it looks like the rear main seal is starting to leak, and then I have to remove the whole electrical motor. But that's between the engine and transmission. That's another thing I haven't done yet, but that's definitely the noise. You can actually see it binding on there. That's crazy. Boy, oh boy, is this gadgety. Anyway, I took off the back side, this side. It's like I still can't get this thing out. I tied zip ties around the CVT belt. You can see how bad the bearing is. But it's like, you know, I suppose I can use some kind of puller to get the bearing off, but it's like, I really want to go through the tranny. I'm not sure what I want to do at this point. I might just get a used one. Oh, this was really a pain. I'm just trying to get in there. I didn't understand how the fuck it came apart. I didn't realize the way the second piece was. It had a lot of stuff in it. I thought it was just a thin thing, but it apparently was not. But I'm banging it. I got all these big nuts off. I had to find out one was left-hand thread. This one was right-hand thread. This took everything out of me right now. I'm really upset. I didn't get it apart. But I got to take a break. I'll try to do some research. Oh well. Alright, this is probably going to be my last video for a while. I'm very upset at this transmission. I usually figure this stuff out. This particular drum, which was this one, I got it off finally, and I think it was because I knew I had to tap this out because I got the snap ring out, but it wasn't sliding out really good, which might be a sign there's something wrong, something's mushroomed, that it may just be kind of natural that it does that with time, that something gets a little bit off. You know, like if these blinds are not 100% aligned, you may have an issue. But I had it leaned on the table, and that was on that side, so that's probably why I had most of the problem. The other problem is, that snap ring there, there's nothing to grab it. I've went crazy now for the last 2 hours trying to get it off, and then I took off the seal that's on the inside to see if there was a hole here. I've seen that where you push a little pin through and get it out. Otherwise, I'm ready to go. This just slides right out, but it won't go out because this is not going to go out because it's attached to the CVT belt. So this is very disturbing, this tranny. I really don't. So I actually ordered a service manual from eBay, an official Honda one, because not even the AT, I didn't even have an ATSG manual for this. This, I can feel play in this. It feels funny. He should never have put it on there. And this chain was loose as well. You know, it's beginning to like not be worth it, but you know, the cheapest one you can buy is like $400 with 175,000 miles, which is literally 5,000 miles less than what this one has. So, you know, it's hard to say, you know, what's the right one to buy, but, because even this one, you know, the CVT thing, I haven't, you know, inspected it. There's a way to inspect it, and I have to research that again. I don't remember exactly what the guy said, but there's something sharp, you know, if it feels sharp, it's good. If it doesn't feel sharp, it's not good. So that could be an issue, because that could change your gear ratio, making you not get the gas mileage you expect, things like that. So, I'm just going to put together this as a YouTube video, and I'll probably make one more video showing exactly what I unbolted as far as, you know, from the engine. Maybe somebody's interested in that. I should have done a little bit more filming. It just that it ends up being like, I was actually sending a lot of these videos to my friend, just telling him how much problems I've had. You know, he had no idea, but he's like, you should make a YouTube video. I'm like, I guess I have, because I haven't made one in a while because I have some problems, but maybe I'll just incorporate it in this one. But ultimately, it's not a hard transmission to do. I mean, you just look at it, it's very easy. A lot of the brackets are pretty simple. I guess the thing that was a big pain in the ass was this guy that holds I had to take off the cable. Usually I just unbolt all 3 bolts, but these bolts for some reason get rusted. An all aluminum car that doesn't rust, a lot of these bolts, the heads are rusted, and you have to slam it on, you know, hammer on the 12mm socket on a lot of these, you know. But otherwise, it's pretty good, pretty easy. I ordered a rear main seal. I don't know if it's really leaking, but something's dripping, and something's dripping from that end, but nothing crazy. I don't have to do it. Oh, fuck, I forgot to order a belt. That belt looks fucking old. So, I'm probably not going to be able to get to this for another couple of weeks. I'm going to work on my Hyundai and get it ready to sell. And unless somebody buys it cheap, because I have it listed cheap right now, and I really want to fix the bumper on it. I got a massive amount of parts for it. And what sucks is that some guy said, oh yeah, I'm going to buy it. He looked at it and everything. He test drove it. And I went to the garage here. I put everything in it. And I got the title and put everything in it. And then I don't have the money. I only have $1,500 because my friend was supposed to buy my car. So then he said, he messaged me today. I got $1,800. And as it is, I said, listen, I'll take off $100, but that's about it. And it's $1,900 for a 2012. Motor only has 86,000. Yeah, it's beat up a little bit, but nobody wants a beat up car. Nobody does things based on the how well it runs or anything like that anymore. But in any case, this is going to be my new modern car that I'll be able to use in the movies, because they're actually filming a lot of things that are in the mid 2000s, and this would be perfect for it. It's the right color. They don't want bright green. They don't want red, and this is a bit of a calamity. It's going to be expensive, but I figured if I sell the car, I can always, buy a transmission with it. I'd like to get something with less mileage, but it's hard to find. A lot of people hold on to these cars, and all the good parts have gone away, and it's not a lot of information, but yeah, I wanted this car. And I hate Hondas. I hate Hondas for the transmissions. That's usually they're priced in the $4,000 range, but I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to try to do it myself. Can't hurt to learn, and then I always have the spare parts or something along those lines. I shall see though. It's been an experience. I gotta obviously put these parts away nicely so I can find them all, but having the manual really helped me out. So thanks for watching. There probably won't be a part 2 for a while. Going back to this though, yeah, there's basically only like 5 bolts that hold the engine to the transmission. The big bolts. The main bolts. This is basically it. You got 1, 2 here, 2 on the bottom, and of course it's on the other side, but it goes into this. There's 1 up top. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6. There's actually 6. Yeah. The 2 on the bottom are smaller bolts though. They're just kind of put the oil pan to the transmission, but for the most part there was these 2. I swear there was 2 on this side. Yeah, I guess there's 6 then total. It makes sense. And this would be interesting if it can run, again. But it was a running tranny. It really was. It was just really that bearing, and it was fucking loud. The other problem with these things are these things here, and it's like, if you do all the work, do you just bother changing it? Because these splines, they go bad. You see all this grease came out. So it's like if you put grease in, I say if you put too much grease, you can blow the splines. But if you don't put enough grease, then you can blow the splines. I think the service manual will tell me a little bit more rather than hearsay, because there's a lot of expensive mistakes here in this car. But this has a potential of lasting a long, long time if you build it right. So, because there was another car I was thinking about getting instead of this one, but it was red. It was faded. It has an oxygen sensor code, which the oxygen sensor is like $200. And then, what do you call it? This broke off or something. Anyway, well, no, don't put it there. Just chucking it with the rest of the garbage. Anyway, so it had 188,000 miles, and if this one has 180 and the tranny's blown, and he says it has no forward gears, and I assumed it was this, because a lot of people claim that. But, I don't know. I could fix this on the other car, and then tranny goes the next week. So, same thing with a used tranny. We have some kind of warranty if you can get it in right away. So that's why I opt to pull it out. It doesn't cost me anything to actually take it apart. But, ultimately it was a working tranny. All the clutches are still good. Like, the clutches really don't wear out. But, between the guy putting gear lube in it, because that's what it fucking smells like, unless it's like synchro mesh or something like that, no matter what, it's a much heavier oil he tried to put in there to make up for that bearing. It wasn't smart, and it kind of messed up the pump, in my opinion. If the chain got stretched and that's all that happened, that would be, the minimal, but I still kind of don't trust it. You know, there's no way that should be like that. You know? So at least that's what it seems like on face value. But this is all the electrical stuff is supposed to work, and this is the only car that if you run out of, if your battery goes bad, instead of being stranded without a battery, you can actually drive it as a 3-cylinder car, and the transmission will work as it's designed, and it'll be like a gas car, but it's a 3-cylinder. How much gas can you use? You know, I mean, the old Geo Metros used to use, 50 miles to the gallon, and this is like, you could potentially go 70, probably with a stick, but it's very interesting car, and it's a little 2-seater, and I sometimes do side jobs, and I put tools in, like I was putting tools in the back of that. It's like a truck, but this is really big back here. There's a switch there. I turn off the switch so you don't get electrocuted, but because it's AC voltage. But that's a pretty big hatch in the back there, and it has got that deep well there. This is a charger for the main battery. Kind of a just in case you're not using it for a while or whatever. But the guy had a little Bluetooth setup there. So for an older car, it's fine for me. And I really need the gas mileage. Tires are good. There's a lot of good things about it. So I like this car better. This hood and the front fender, the right fender was painted. I guess it was in a minor accident. There was a red hood and a red thing. But somebody painted it. It's fairly painted well, and that's fine. I can always get the same color body panels for a couple $100 probably. So... Alright, that's a long enough video, and I'll wrap this one up, and I'll hopefully put a new video out in a couple of weeks or something. Maybe it'll be more detailed. If you leave comments, I can try to, tell you whatever whatever questions you want to know as I get closer to getting it done, or while I'm getting it done, and I can answer a few things in the videos. Alright, thanks for watching.